41?
Sí.
541. Then if you'll rise for the pledge. And we'll face north.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do you want to do it?
No, you can do it. If you'd like. Roll call.
Elian Guevara,
Present.
Diana Rodriguez,
Here.
Esther Pirova,
Present.
Linda Ramirez,
Here.
Dolores Boswell,
Here.
Alice Herrera, Francis Rorowski, Sylvia Palombo,
Here.
Pat Garcia, and Ms. Claudia Medellin is no longer on the commission. Belinda Guerra, Ana Laura Botello, Berenice Silva, Sandra Rocha Taylor,
Present.
Elizabeth Lopez, Lizette Cuellar, and Maribel Garcia.
Here. You have a quorum, ladies.
Thank you. Okay, this on the agenda is if you'll please review the minutes for November 9th.
Now there's present.
Yes.
There's the,
Okay.
I think they have it.
Tiffany has it.
Sorry I'm late. That was horrible. Normally I'm never late because I cross the street, but I have to leave.
Okay, once, if everybody's reviewed it, I'll entertain a motion.
Okay, there's some, on number 4, it says under the agenda, Diana Boswell will be changed to Dolores Boswell. Oh, okay, I got it. And I
Yeah,
was
these were the
thinking that it was-
corrections.
Oh, okay.
Those were the
Oh, okay,
corrections.
okay.
for
Oh,
the-
yeah.
the minutes before.
Okay. I so move that the minutes for the last meeting, so minutes for November the 13th,
I second the motion.
be accepted.
I'm sorry, I see that it says the meeting time was Tuesday, November 13th. I believe it was Monday the 9th.
No.
No,
It was a Tuesday.
Yes.
okay,
It was,
apologies.
It was close
I was
to
wrong.
Monday.
close on Monday.
Okay, apologies.
So just the agenda was wrong, but that's
Okay.
fine.
Yeah.
The minutes were correct. And you second?
No, Sylvia second.
Sylvia second?
Yes, I second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, I open the floor for public comments. Okay, there's no one here for public comments, so we'll close. Next item, discussion and possible action regarding the selection process for officer vacancies and any matters incident thereto. Claudia unfortunately resigned. She had some personal issues she had to address, and we're very happy to have her, but she's not going to be able to be with us anymore. So we accepted her letter of resignation. The agenda allows for, the bylaws allow for the officers to meet and appoint someone. And when we met, we had talked to Lisbeth about stepping up to be vice president. And we have an opening for secretary. So we had talked about asking Ms. Waworski if she was available for that. But if anybody else is interested, you're welcome to.
Well, if it does allow it to be that way, Joe.
I was, if I could, Madam Chair?
Yes.
Yes, it would be a recommendation from the officer, so I don't know if you want to do that step first fill the vacancy and which will create another vacancy. So you want to vote on that for the vice chair position? And then I guess take nominations from the floor for secretary? I think that would be
Would we
appropriate.
have to approve what the officer did, or?
Yes, but it's a recommendation. In other words, it says,
It's a recommendation.
Section 7 of the bylaws, resignation of an elected officer position must be in writing, presented at a regular meeting prior to the vacancy of the office, when possible. In this case, it wasn't possible. Replacement of the officer will be left to the discretion of the remaining officers with confirmation of the commission. So they basically choose someone and then the commission votes on it. If they agree, then it moves forward. If not, then it's up to another recommendation from them.
If can we get recommendations from the floor, or not?
In this position, it doesn't say that.
Doesn't
It only
say.
says that the officers recommend someone.
Okay.
It's
I
not
get it.
open to the
So
floor.
the officers recommend, and we don't have any.
The remaining
Vacancy
officers.
If it doesn't pass, then we could open it up from the floor.
In other words, the secretary, it would be like, if there's anybody that would like to,
The secretary.
Well, the recommendation from the committee is Ms. Francis.
Right now, I think we're gonna,
Let's go with one first.
Well,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Vice
Just do the
President.
first
Let's
one
do the
first.
first one.
so the officers are recommending Elizabeth Cuella as the vice president.
Do we need a motion and a second to accept that nomination?
Do you accept a nomination to be vice
Oh, yes,
chair?
I had spoken with her.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Any against?
let me count. Or any opposed?
I would like to just say this, because I understand, I would oppose. I mean, I
Okay.
do have somebody that I want to nominate.
But motion carries.
Yes.
We had enough votes, so motion
Okay,
carries.
so motion carries, and then.
So the next item then is open for secretary. So
The committee nominated.
Francis.
we nominated Ms. Jaworski. Are you accept? You'll accept, okay. So there's a motion to accept Ms. Jaworski as secretary.
I'll second.
Yeah.
and then,
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, then motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Jaworski. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you, ladies.
And I think for the meeting, Elizabeth came prepared to take the minutes, so she'll do them and we can start that next time. Thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda is discussion and possible action regarding the Laredo Commission for Women Annual Action Plan and matters incident thereto. So, Mr. Valdez had recommended if anybody had any items that they wanted to bring or put on the action items for us, that we approach him if we felt we may need to go through legal. So, did you receive any
No, we
calls
didn't
from
receive
anyone?
any.
Okay.
No.
All right.
I had made a I called them, I talked to you, I think I talked to you. Maybe not. I was just, this was just something that came up because
Mhm.
of the way that we have it set up. We honor women every 2 years. That's gonna stay in place, or we're gonna go back to having it honored every year?
We'll discuss that.
The reason is this,
after
the
that.
reason is this. The officers, in particular the chairperson, will serve only 1 year. So that person will not, if we go to, every other year, then that person will never get a chance to do that.
Mhm.
And, I just was concerned with that. I didn't know if in other committees set up by the city council, like.
I don't think any other committee recognizes anybody.
No, I just meant if their terms of action, which is one, their terms of.
it's a 1 year or 2 year term.
I'm not sure. I think some of them are longer than 1 year. It just depends, planning and zoning. I think they've,
I was just
I'd have
worried
to
about that
research it,
because.
but I want to say that some committees are longer than 1 year. It just depends who appoints them and how they're set up in their bylaws themselves. I mean, it can be a recommendation of this commission to change it to be 2 years for the president, or keep it at 1, and then in the action plan, you recognize a person every year, or women every year as the Hall of Fame, with the Hall of Fame. It just depends what you all want to do, and then we present it to council and let them vote on it.
I was just wondering about that.
Because before, many years back, it used to be every year. And then since they kind of like,
Limit our budget.
because of the budget, then they started doing it every 2 years.
And then we had
And
But
other.
it's
there
been,
was a
has it
big
the
gap.
last 2 years, it's been every year?
Every year.
And then there was a big gap that
At least.
they didn't do anything, and then they started again. And,
And it's been every year, no? Since the
Well,
last 2
actually,
years?
it was actually, what it was a Hall of Fame, and then it was our 20th, and then it was a Hall of Fame.
And then we were off, we
And
did
then we
nothing,
didn't do
and then we
anything.
had another.
And see, that's why it seemed like we had
Like
it
it
back
was
to
every
back.
year, yeah.
But the only reason why we did it 2 years in a row,
Because
or
of
3 years in a row, was
anniversary.
because it was the 20th anniversary.
Okay.
And we did a 20th anniversary, not a Hall of Fame, but we
The 20th.
recognized all the Hall of Famers
Oh,
for
okay.
That was
20
very
years
nice.
of the
When
commission.
was that, in the 2016, or?
there was
I believe
in 2000.
Yeah.
It was a while.
It started
back. It
before.
was, yeah, it was before.
But then there was one in 2016, correct?
Yeah, then it was 16, and then last year.
17.
17. So it's been,
It's been almost every, except for that one.
Yeah.
I think in 16. we
Well, it's up to the, it's up to
I
the
think the
commission what
20th
y'all
one
wanna do,
was
I mean,
we had a
Yeah.
suggestion that we do a Hall of Fame this year. We went over the application, which, and the requirements. So there were 2 recommendations on the requirements, but we can discuss it when we get there to the Hall of Fame application, but I will mention it briefly. One is that anyone that is running for office,
For example,
not,
position.
yes, cannot be
And above it.
considered. And number 2, anyone that holds a public office in the city
Does not qualify.
or the county, an elected official cannot.
Even in the county?
Any elected official?
So any elected official?
Yeah.
Or just city, county?
I would say,
Because any, you're talking about like board of trustees, they're elected officials.
State senator.
They're all elected, yeah, they're elected officials.
I agree with, well, we'll talk about it when we get to that.
Yeah, so those are just some of the things that have been brought up, and I think they're very good points.
Mhm.
So we'll discuss that when we get to that item. So as far as the action plan, I know that,
the next
Somebody-
council meeting, I wanna say, I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's gonna be January the 22nd, from what I understand. So we have time to present to council the action plan, and, so we still have time to accept recommendations, review them through the legal department, make sure everything's okay, and then present that to them. And then we should have another meeting as a group in January.
so the meeting for council is the 22nd?
I think so, is that,
So we have scheduled the 14th for our next meeting.
For this.
That would be a full week before city council, if you'd have time to put
Is that to
something
approve us to have the Hall of Fame, Joe, or what?
excuse me?
Is that for us to get approved to get?
No, that's to do the action
Action
plan,
plan
try to get
Oh,
them
the
to approve it
action
as soon
plan,
as
not the Hall
possible.
of Fame, because we do have to get that cleared first, no?
The what?
You want to do the Hall of Fame this
Right.
year.
right.
So when do we have to put that in, the recommendation, so that the city, county, I mean, the
Well-
city can vote on it?
They have to also recommend the qualifications and how people are gonna get selected. What I had suggested, because lack of time, was we can still move forward, receive applications. There has to be a review process from, if you're gonna do a subcommittee. So they have to review everything. January comes around, we give the qualifications to council, if they agree with them, continue. If they say, okay, we don't agree with this part of it, okay, then you look at the application, if somebody doesn't qualify at that point, they're not considered. You still haven't selected anyone. You know what I'm saying? So there's still time to be able, it'll be tight, but I think it can be done. If you're all in agreement. That way we don't delay it.
I guess my concern would
We
be
already have
is,
them in process, the qualifications and all. They
Yeah.
already exist.
The
Yeah.
problem was that they weren't, I don't think they've been approved by council, and so legal was saying, council needs to approve everything. Even when you when you
yeah,
send
and that's,
candidates.
that's okay. My concern
Yeah.
is December, and this event has to be March.
Yeah.
And we
but
need to
that's
get a
when we have to have
place, like, now.
it. Yep.
Well,
That's
but
when
we only
have
have
to
places that we
The
can
thing
use.
of the place, we're limited.
Yeah, it's only the
It's
Maxwell
either
or the library. and that's it.
The public library or
No,
the
yeah, and
No,
then,
Max.
Mandel.
and then
Like
like-
Budget.
Yeah, that's the only 2 options
We
they
have to go with
give.
the budget too.
Yeah, and those will be
Easier to
addressed
get to the
at,
library,
hopefully at the
but-
January meeting, and so
It's a better place over there.
that's where everything's gonna have to happen, at the January meeting.
So moving on the action plan.
Excuse me, Mr. Cortez, you mentioned that it would be January the 22nd?
That's what I heard today. Let me see.
So it's gonna be on a Tuesday? It's a parade.
The holiday,
No,
Monday's a
sorry.
holiday?
Es que el 22nd
Monday
is Tuesday.
is, I
January?
believe, it's Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah, I wanna say it'll be the 22nd.
Okay, because
That's
of
what I
that.
heard today.
Yeah,
I wanna
that's
say
why-
that there's a
yeah.
holiday on the 21st.
Yeah, it probably moved to the 22nd because of that
Yeah.
reason.
Okay.
Okay, so does anybody have any action items they would like to bring up?
That doesn't contain money, that we don't have to get any.
Right.
Because even though, Joe, if I may add, that if we're gonna be representing this Laredo Commission for Women, we still have to get approval for the action plan, even if we're not gonna be asking for money for anything.
Yes, because you all represent the city and the city council, so whatever you guys.
So anything we do, we are representing the city,
Mhm.
there's liability involved anywhere we go if something happens, o algo pasa, ¿verdad?
That's what legal said, that
Yeah.
council needs to approve
Is
the
that the
action plan.
reason why they won't allow a lot of these items? I mean, I'm just asking out of ignorance
Well,
too.
I think they're just wanting to make sure that it's,
Everybody's covered and
I don't know so much a liability, but that it's what we should be doing, that we're on the right track.
I think it's standard procedure.
I think
It's
so.
just standard procedure, not necessarily making sure we're on the right track, but everything involved, standard procedure for any organization within the city.
And that's why we want to make sure that we get the, any recommendations for anything, even if it needs money, funding, or whatever, but they have to approve it, and legal has to sign off on it first, and then it gets presented to
Okay.
council. That's why any
for,
items that you all have, I'd like for you all to email them to me, so we can present it to legal, make sure there's no issues.
for example, if, like, we've done the women's bill, and I want to say that it's going to be in March. Before it used to be the first week of May. And, I mean, it's on a voluntary basis, but we would say, okay, we're representing the Laredo Commission for Women, since it's a commission of women, and we would go and volunteer our time. Does that have to be approved through the city council?
If it's an action, if it's one of the items that you guys
Yes.
approve, it has to be.
So you wanted to put that down?
Yes,
Okay.
I would say yes. I don't know, I mean, if it has to be voted on, or?
Well, we think the commission will vote if it's gonna be recommended by the
Yes.
commission.
Yeah, I think we'll all
As
go.
it
I know that a lot of people,
event.
Dolores has gone, and Alice and Linda. Women's build, or where we going and build?
Habitat for Humanity.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, I've been there.
But they told me there's a,
All of y'all wanna vote on that item?
Yeah,
Yes.
that for
Event, yes.
so which
Yeah.
Would you like to put that in the form of a motion?
It's called Women's Build Day.
It's nationwide women's build
She
day.
serves on the board.
And this, I'd like to make a motion to see
Oh,
if the commission will agree to accept
Councilman.
the recommendation of having the commission or anybody that's willing to volunteer their time under the commission's name to participate in the nationwide women's bill, which will take place in March.
In March.
That's a motion, is there a second, I guess?
I second that.
Okay, motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. And I would like to appoint Diana Rodriguez as the chair for that event.
Okay, the only thing, I'm coming up as president for Habitat for Humanity.
Oh, okay.
So maybe if somebody else would like, I don't want them to be biased because, I'm over there, I'm the president, I'm pushing it to be over here, but I'm first vice right now, and I'm
That's fine.
moving up
No
as
problem. Is
president
there
for-
anyone else who would like to volunteer? To head that?
I know Alice does the one with one, yes?
Alice?
I'll go ahead and do it.
Okay, Alice, thank you very much.
Thank
You'll
you.
just be
I could-
coordinating.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, just the names.
I'd say that they
There's a
will.
training for 2 hours at Lowe's, and it's, whoever has not had the opportunity to go, it's really amazing. I'm sure that Dolores could attest to that, Alice and Linda. It's something that you just cannot explain. It is a phenomenal way of gratitude from people that really are in need. And it's, I've worked it on from the foundation all the way to the dedication of a key, and for many times, and it's a wonderful feeling. And it's just making a difference in somebody else's life. So, if people have not gone, I recommend them go.
But
Practice for the-
when is it, excuse me, but when is the deadline, Joe, to submit anything to January the 22nd? In case we
Only the
can come
Wednesday
up with some
before.
other organization that we would like to help out, there's so many.
When is our next meeting?
Yeah,
It has to go through the
It needs to come through us.
The 14th.
14th.
Have your
The
nomination.
14th, it has to be the 14th.
Would you present something by the 14th? By the 14th then?
Wednesday.
We have to have
Yes.
everything by the 14th so that we could give it
Yes.
to Mr. Valdez and have it.
And if there are items that are still after that, I mean, we can always present it back to council. I mean, this is not a drop dead date on the 21st. But the sooner the better, we can get them several items where y'all are in agreement, that way we have, put them on the calendar. And then later on during the year, something comes up and you want to include it, I'm sure that, I mean, they're going to consider it.
Okay.
But yes, I'd have to
But
submit it on
nonetheless, it goes through.
Wednesday, and so I need it at that meeting of the 14th.
Okay, so
Very well,
16th,
thank you.
by the
14th.
16th.
The 14th.
Our
14th.
meeting, our meeting. That day you need that
He needs
information?
it because it comes before us.
Hmm?
Once we all agree or don't agree, then it goes to him. He'll have it already from
For the
this point on.
16th.
He
For the
submits
next
it.
meeting.
Yeah, because that way, on Tuesday, the next day, I can submit
You
it
can
to
submit
legal,
it,
and they'll
they
look at
review
it,
it.
see if it makes sense for them,
And
and
then submit it to the
submit
agenda.
it on the agenda.
So then, that action plan we'll set up for the Hall of Fame to take place in March. Am I
I mean,
correct?
we'll include it.
Yes, I mean, because an action plan needs, like, what is it that we're gonna be doing?
Yes. So we have that,
We have a format on it.
we
Do
have the
still
form
use
that we
same
filled
format?
in.
Well, let's do this. If we're gonna do the Hall of Fame for this March, I would ask that that be part of the,
Yes,
um,
the action.
the action plan, and so y'all wanna nominate that, make a motion to do that? And then vote on it, and we'll include it for the,
I move that we include in our action plan the Hall of Fame for this year in March.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Well,
Okay,
Leanna's
Linda.
fine, keep Leanna.
It's been moved and seconded by Linda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. So we have 2 items for now. I know, Esther, you had some good ideas on that sheet that they read for you. And if you want to consider some of those, you're welcome to talk to Mr. Valdez
Thank you.
about them. And what we'll be needing is if there's any money required. Okay, I know they're suggesting that we not have a budget for, but if there is something that you all feel and it'll be a minimal cost, maybe we'll need to print out flyers or something like that. Put a dollar to it and just describe the event, the activity, and what the purpose is and what specifically it is. And that way we can present it to
we can
council.
clear it ahead of time with legal, and then for the meeting, we'll just come, and if you all vote on it, we'll include it. If you don't, then you don't.
Okay, so if there are no further items?
I have a question.
Motion to adjourn.
Are there any,
No, we have
is
one
there
item.
No,
like
no,
an
no.
action plan for the
No, I
city
understood.
or an agenda
you
that
mean to put on
perhaps the
the action.
commission
Like the-
could coordinate with them and help them in anything? So that we,
For like community events and things of that nature, or?
Yeah.
you know,
That's a great idea.
Community development does a lot of different type of programming for different areas around the community, for the homeless,
I don't think.
for the
they-
lower income. But there's not a
They have
specific
like-
plan. Different groups within the city, different departments.
is there like a calendar for the year that
Community
maybe
calendar.
we could look at?
We have a community calendar on our website. And if you all want to browse through it and see, maybe there's something
It's a
that you all.
community calendar? So, I mean, if, when you are at the
That's the
city's
website.
website. Scroll down, it is this button right here, it looks like a cork board. Okay. And then it'll show a lot of the recently upcoming ones.
Cleanups in districts, I mean, there's, but I kind of try to get something more to help women and their
Wow, we're
causes.
missing all the Christmas fun.
We
tuned in after weeks.
Ladies,
City.
models, and-
No, because now that we're looking at the calendar, I always wanted to do in Laredo what they do in San Antonio with the Susan B. Komen for the breast cancer awareness, that they have a walk and they do it downtown. And since they're always trying to revive our downtown, why couldn't we have like a Susan Coleman Laredo walk in the downtown area?
Susan Coleman is controversial. Susan Coleman is controversial.
But it doesn't have to necessarily be,
Oh,
I mean, like
Susan.
something
It's like
like
an
breast
example,
cancer
yeah.
awareness, where we do like a walk. And since we want to revive the downtown, what better way than having people walk and like
It's a good
look at the
idea.
buildings,
Yeah.
come
I think
aware
Esther's
what's
really
there.
involved with the Pink to Do, and they do it at LCC.
There's a lot of
We did.
people doing a lot of the cancer.
There's a specific day, right, that they do.
We
it?
do
That's
it
in
on
October.
Saturday of October.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be doing
But
it.
it's the whole month,
It-
breast cancer
Yeah.
awareness.
Yeah.
Ours is gonna be at both LCC downtown
Breast
and
cancer
LCC
awareness.
South. So we'll have it at LCC downtown. The president
South.
requested that. And South, so it'll be at 2 locations,
The same day or different days?
same day.
Or, both?
No, because mine wanted like the city to be involved, because that's the way San Antonio does it, and like I said, since they keep wanting to revive downtown, a lot of people, even though you live here, you don't really come downtown, but if you're doing a walk, they can see like the buildings, see all the new stuff that's going on, the outlets, you're just happy to be walking by. I think it would be nice.
So big as to do it.
We don't have a budget,
Yeah.
you know, everything requires some money.
Well,
And
support.
if we could kind of dovetail into something that's associated with the city, you know, already, that we would just have our presence there and to do something, because other than March, what are we gonna do for the other 11 months?
Mhm.
Well, we have talked about doing some outreach to the young women of Laredo, and we could use the rec centers for that, or we could use, the library. We've talked about collecting, maybe.
I know that they have like a mentor, like a business mentor for high schools. I want to say that they do something like that. What's the stuff?
Junior achievement?
The what?
Like junior achievement?
Maybe, yeah, but that's in general, right? It's not specific to men or women. I think it includes both.
Yes. Both.
But this, you all could do something professional women gathered around this table. You can do something, I think, maybe with different high schools.
Well, so
One
I
month
agree
you
with
do
Sandra
one
about
and
the
you-
wages,
I don't know, I'm just
we
thinking-
need to talk more about the women, their wages, the workplace, the harassments, all of that is very important, that maybe we can have something, someplace, somewhere.
Especially if you have like a business person that
They're like
has
the
been
Me Too
successful,
movement, que hay
you
mucho
know,
movimiento en eso,
to
what the
hold
rights are
business.
for the
We
women.
have been.
The seminar that you all did a couple of years ago, I think, Esther, you were involved with that, right? At TAMU? What was
But
that?
that was a conference.
Well, actually, it was a convenience to us because it didn't cost us anything. I got the council members to sponsor the T-shirts. And they all came through. There was no council member that renegated that. But actually, TAMU, we met with TAMU and they requested an amount of money, if you would, for us to contribute to the big conference. And there was really a coordination with the Young Women's Commission and Laredo Commission for Women. And we flat out told them we didn't have any money, so they paid for all the meal. We were in charge of the program, and the program focused on women's issues at that time. We had fantastic speakers. We brought speakers in.
The fashion show, I think, right?
We had a fashion show.
And etiquette
And the
también.
meal was fantastic, thanks to TAMU, and it was very well received. Everybody went, all the girls, all the counselors were happy. I think we exceeded the numbers. We got 210 that attended. We coordinated with all the school counselors, got their list, and it's a one-day thing, but it worked very well. This past year they called and we had to tell them no, because I think we did away with it. I'm not sure. If we did
Oh, no,
away
we just
with
need
it.
to approve it. That's what I was about to ask you, how much would it cost that they want? Because
It
if we have
cost
a
us-
number, council asked it, it's because since we're an advisory board, you have, like,
No,
that's
I
a good
understand
idea.
that. I totally understand that. No, just for everybody, I think everybody else is familiar with it, but it didn't cost us a thing. What we did is I reached out to the council members for the T-shirts. Because that's one of the things that the girls, attendees look forward to receiving,
Their
the
shirt.
T-shirt.
Oh, no, that's what I mean, like, how much would the shirts cost? so
I
we
don't
can go to
remember, but
council
I
and
think
ask?
the bill was divided by the council members that wanted to participate. And I think there were 4 of them. don't remember, but it was covered. Oh, I think Albert, right?
Yeah.
Albert footed the bill, actually. Albert decided that he didn't want to work. He had enough money in his funds. Not that he didn't want to work, he didn't want us to wait. He said, let me do
Yeah,
this.
someplace.
Yeah, well, actually, he spoke to other council, he spoke to, you have to do
Are we
that.
recording this?
He spoke to other council members, and the other council members, and I stand to be corrected. He spoke with other council members, and 4 council members did participate.
But-
So,
But if that's a good
Yeah, I think we should
event.
put it on the action plan. That's
Again,
something
they're
that we
gonna
wanna
approve
do,
it,
yeah.
and if they know that there's gonna be a little bit of money involved, then legal might say, well, we don't recommend it, we do, but at the end of the day, it's up to council.
Right.
So they might say, no, I think it's a worth project to do, that, we'll put in
And there are
whatever.
options, if we can't do it at TAMU because it's not on their radar for
under
this year.
budget.
Or their budget, yeah, we could probably do it going through the rec centers, or maybe
We're
even
doing it,
going to
the library has a
schools.
multi-purpose room, it's
The
a good
library.
size.
I think we should put it on the action plan.
I think it's a good project.
I think they'd like it.
Coordinating with the schools is going to be crucial to do it as soon as possible for next
Yeah.
year, because they have to budget the buses. They have to, they definitely need the meal to be thrown in there. The girls are getting out of school all day, unless you want to do it in a different format, where you might just want to do an afternoon.
Or if you go to the schools, don't they sometimes have, like some guest speakers that you could go to the gym or to an auditorium?
That's kind of what I was trying to go to, but if you can put everybody in one facility, and I think just bring everybody in, the speakers are talking to everybody instead of, because you're gonna have some speaker that's real good, that's gonna be able to go one school, but won't be able to go to the other. If you're gonna do them on different days. And so if you can get everybody in one room,
Yeah.
you have 4 or 5 speakers,
Unless they do it on a Saturday and they're on their own, because I know that the buses are very expensive. And a lot of times that's why there's very limited field trips.
I think you can reach more people actually going to the schools. Because say you have the TAMU 200, what was the graduating class of United?
1,000.
1,000, so say half of
Probably
those are
600
female.
girls, yeah.
Or
These
600.
young ladies were picked by counselors. They were handpicked by the counselors. I think we limited, if I remember correctly, we
you're gonna
limited
give them meals, you have to limit.
40% per
Well, but-
school, or?
Yeah, maybe you don't have to give,
How
and
many
I'm just
students
saying
were there?
because we did, at one time with,
10.
with the American Cancer Society, we went and we spoke to the girls about breast cancer. And we went to the schools. And so they brought in the girls and we stood up there and we spoke to them. And that's a good way to get more people.
And you, instead of just getting 10 seniors or juniors, you're doing the student body of girls.
Of the girls at that point.
It's
So
up to the
that's just-
commission, I mean, there's
Well, it
different ways
doesn't
of looking
necessarily
at
have
it.
to be just girls, because I mean, there's cancer in
guys.
males.
Right, but I'm saying not for the cancer, I'm talking about if we want to continue with this theme and go and talk to women about.
You know, maybe somebody in
Professional
banking,
issues.
you know, somebody in banking and insurance, and
Well, I think if you all approve it, and then you can create a subcommittee to make recommendations back to the
I
commission
think that would be good.
and come back with different options of doing it by high schools or doing it at the arena that the city owns, which we don't have a hockey team anymore, so it's available maybe on a weekend or something.
Yeah.
that would be awesome.
That would be very good.
I mean, the city will sponsor it, I'm thinking out loud, but no commitments, I haven't talked to
Yeah, 'cause I'm
anybody,
pretty
but
sure that they would.
I think it'd be
I think as
great.
long as we tell them ahead of time. they-
Yeah, and we do it with several months in advance, and you set the whole thing up, and if it's a Saturday even, I think the school districts will provide a bus at the school. Whoever wants to go at Alexander, register, show up there, and we'll take you from there over there if you can't make it over there for whatever reason, but I think if it's at like the arena on a Saturday morning, I think people will go on their own. And I think if you can get some good speakers, that would be a tremendous project, I think, for you all.
So is there a motion to?
I motion to have a leadership conference be part of our agenda.
With the young ladies or young women, or?
Oh, a young woman, sorry. A young woman's leadership conference. And which month did y'all have it last time?
It was,
April? Is it
April.
April?
I think you need a lot of time so you can
Was
go
it
ahead and get ready.
Yeah, maybe we'll do it in the fall when they get back, right?
Yes.
Because right now we're already.
Oh, yeah.
like
Like in October?
I would think so.
October-ish?
Well, that's another action plan, that's another year, right?
Oh, yeah.
But if you did it in September or,
Well, that's true.
We're just coming in.
It has to be
Fiscal year.
yeah, tiene que ser antes.
Antes de que.
So when did the term start then?
October 1st to September 30th.
So it doesn't have to be only breast cancer, right? Can we-
No, we're not talking
No,
about
the
breast
young women,
cancer.
that is, the fiscal year that our action plan runs from October 1st.
Can you hear that well?
Is that
If y'all
when we
can
have
speak
the
up a little louder.
The action plan runs from October 1st through September 30th.
Ah, okay, got it. Thank you.
So September?
I think like the last week of September.
Or the first week of October.
No, we cannot. Can we do it?
I think that would be.
Oh, okay,
There's no
okay, I
testing.
get it.
There's no testing yet, right?
So
That's a probably. The last
We
week.
have to check.
Yeah, they're.
Yeah, because they're just starting. Yeah, so that'll give us time to coordinate with the schools.
So it would be Young Women's Leadership Conference in September.
Okay, all in favor? Oh, I'm
Oh,
sorry,
sorry.
that's a motion, is there a second?
En septiembre, el año escolar empieza a finales de agosto.
Right.
Septiembre no
Medianos.
es como que muy pronto para
Para
las
No,
escuelas.
they're not-
No para
O sea,
nosotros.
no han entrado todavía en todo lo de los escolar. So
Okay.
es
Es buen tiempo. Sí.
buen
No,
tiempo.
and it would be good for the juniors. The junior girls, because that's when you start applying for colleges towards the end of your junior year, coming into senior
Try to figure out
year.
what
So it
you're
would
gonna
be
do.
good for the seniors that they're starting their senior year to kind of get a little bit of idea, like,
Inspiration.
inspiration from some of the
Yes.
days that go speak with
I
them.
think if you do it like in the morning, because I think September you're gonna have football games Saturday night, in the afternoon, so people are gonna be busy, so if you do something like in the morning, I think that'd be a half a day type of thing.
Okay, so was there a second?
Who's going to be chair?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And who will be the chair for this? To start working on getting info and looking at dates and all that.
Okay, are there any?
Somebody has to take the lead on
Anybody
this.
volunteering to be the chair? Elia?
Yes.
Okay, great.
I think it would be really good. But I'm pretty sure since we have it in months in advance, I'm pretty sure city council would want to get involved.
I think so.
Something positive for the community.
Yes.
And you can get some of the school board members, there are females also involved.
Yeah, that's true.
Are there
For the
any other
students and
items
schools.
for the action plan?
So some things also that were, I'm thinking of our previous action plans that we were doing that were not costing money, like either Christmas caroling or tamaladas, with donated tamales. Well, do those have to go through the,
Yeah.
Everything has to go through it, but I know that the tamaladas,
Budget.
legal had an issue with that. 'Cause you're trying, but I don't understand sometimes because you're gonna get sponsors, somebody has to pay something. Like for this event that you all just approved, I mean, the use of the arena is not free. And so council would have to sponsor it, so there is money to a certain extent that's involved. But I don't think they want this organization going and soliciting for sponsorships on behalf of the organization. It would have to be from the city asking,
The voting.
First sponsors.
something to that nature. But like the tamalada, what would you all discuss, or is it just a,
We would take the tamales, rice and
to
beans.
the senior
To the
homes,
senior
okay.
and they would do a little
Alternate
Christmas
senior homes.
caroling.
I think they wanna see more of, how does that impact women in the community by giving them a tamal? It sounds
algo
ridiculous,
más.
but they don't wanna see that, they wanna see the impact it's gonna have on females.
We took them socks and blankets also. We took
Well,
them-
but I'm not saying-
I mean, it's just, they,
See. I mean, that has helped the individual keep warm, but how does that advance their whatever issues? You know what I'm saying? In other words, that's what they wanna see. as an action plan.
What about something like, I know they've done it at other cities, it's called Dress for Success, and it's a time where people donate like, their suits.
Well, and that's
for
what we had
women.
talked a little
Yeah,
bit
I
about.
think that would be nice, cause there are like, then the
For
women's
people
shelter.
applying, for people applying for jobs, trying to, sometimes they don't have somebody to do the hairstyles for business presentation or makeup, appropriate to go and do interviews
Program already on
or
that.
clothing.
Yeah.
That's something that y'all can do.
Yeah, I
There's
think they
a-
do that
You're
for
involved with
proms,
the
for proms. They give
I did,
dresses.
I did the Dress for Success and I did the prom dresses for
Yeah, I remember
United.
that.
The Dress for Success, I partnered with the county and they would give us a referral. And what happens is it's a lot easier said than done because you need a place to keep the dresses and then you need someone to be there when someone is gonna go and get fitted. They have to have a document, they get 3 outfits or whatever the agreement is. So you're gonna have to have a place to have those dresses. And so maybe you wanna just be the middle person at the organization and we feed it to an existing organization.
What you just said, just click something. Why can't we have community leaders, when you're gonna do an interview, that's the most scariest thing because you don't know how to present yourself, that can give you pointers on answering questions, how to do your resumes. What else is involved in the
Interviews.
Dressing.
well, dressing, how to appropriately dress, not give you the dress, but tell you this is how you're supposed to look more professional. In other words, but have,
Like a kind of business etiquette seminar or
I've done
something
that.
like that.
besides, the other one's more for the youth, this one can be more for
More
people trying to
professional.
get jobs. And you can, you know what I'm
Open to
saying?
the public, not you.
What type of
For women.
do they?
Focus, and that would be an advancement to try to help women in the
And that would be
community.
good to have like at a library. since it's
Exactly,
centrally
that's something-
located, And it's
yeah.
owned by the city, so we wouldn't have to really
I
pay.
think that way, instead of,
Little substation.
because I was thinking trying to get stuff, but
City.
it's a lot of coordination and, but if you can do that, I think that also helps women. Especially if they're applying for jobs and, you're at a shelter.
How
and-
to identify an illegal interview question that they're not allowed to ask to
That is
discriminate
very
against
Well,
women?
that's, all of that's very important.
Yeah.
All of that.
The question that, and they need to know what to ask for as well.
I think that would be a tremendous support that this commission could give to women.
Is there anybody else out there doing that right now in the city?
I'm not sure. I'm
Not
sure
that I know of.
there might be an
There might be.
organization or two that if you go and ask,
Seven
they'll
or
teach
We
you.
did it with the Yale Women's Commission, but Jesus, they
Yeah.
were just going to college. There was an organization, I know Junior Achievement, if I'm not mistaken, because I was part of that. We went to the high schools, but again, it's high schools.
No,
You're
this is
targeting
for,
the adult population, the adult
In
population,
general.
if it was.
So
I
is
don't
that,
think it was
just put that in the form of a motion and we can,
It's like a business etiquette workshop,
Mm-hmm.
right?
how to get a job,
In the library.
And the-
how to get hired,
That's what, like in May?
At the city library.
do's and don'ts, we can set those.
what legal questions they're allowed to ask you, stuff like that, like Tiffany was saying.
And
I have to
maybe
interview people by
and
Friday, so.
a tactful way to deflect an illegal question without introducing further discrimination.
Are you there? Would we be able to
Yes,
get
I mean,
like
kids
people
do
from
that.
HR for the
Kids,
city?
yes.
Are you pregnant? Like someone
I'm sure
from
we
HR?
can.
Because that would be, we wouldn't have to pay and I mean, they see the applications or they would know exactly
The
what.
type of questions and
Yes.
stuff. Yeah, I'm sure they can. Again, this is presented and you can put in part of the presentation, the needs from the commission for each particular
Yeah.
project, and that can be from the subcommittee. We're gonna need someone from HR to help us address these issues,
Someone from
these
legal.
issues, yeah, stuff like
So
that
see,
from
we
legal.
have people here already, it's just putting them together.
Yeah, but I think it's something that's worthwhile that you all can do.
What would you call the workshop? It'd be like, it
I
definitely be a
think what you-
workshop.
Right? Business
Yeah.
etiquette workshop?
You wanna focus on the interviews, or just business in general, including the interviews?
I think.
Business in general.
Yeah,
Business in general, okay.
Okay, would you like to put that in the form of a motion?
I would like to motion for us to have on our action plan, the business etiquette workshop at the city library.
Second?
I said,
Okay, any a second? All in favor?
What month would you like it in?
excuse me?
What month? Would you like?
Because do we need to put it on the month for them?
Maybe,
Yeah. Because it's the
So
action
you're doing
plan.
something in March, you're doing something in
I'm gonna fill
September.
in y'all's template, your action plan
So it
template,
goes
and
by
so if you
months.
know where you might want it.
What do y'all think would be a good time to do this?
Well, since we're gonna try to concentrate on the women, we can do it like in May, like, you know.
Well, I would say maybe
Celebrate
April.
Women, May. What do y'all think?
Have a lot of graduations and.
Yeah, I think you
But
have a
we're
lot of
talking
that.
about,
So-
we're talking about
April?
women that are already out of high
Or
school.
July. What about summer?
Summer would be good.
I think summer,
Because that's when a lot of people are looking for employment in this
Right.
summer.
Yeah, I was gonna say
kids are
after the
moving schools
graduations.
or moving apartments or homes, so
So I
maybe
would-
July.
July or July? I would do June,
Okay, June.
Yeah, so
because
then,
then you got, after you're done with that, you kind of like bounce, you got 2 more months to work on the one for September.
Okay,
Well, yeah, yeah.
and that's tentatively. We need
Yes,
to see
yes,
if we
yes, yes,
can
yes.
get everything to
So it'll be
align
June.
for
yeah,
that
I
month.
can have
I have another issue that maybe we could put on there if we can. I know that our mission statement does say to promote political women in politics or political movement or whatever it's, I don't know how it reads. How do you all suggest, I was thinking maybe in getting women to get us on a voter registration drive, a nonpartisan one, to go and be somewhere and talk about the fact that they can get registered or anything they need.
Well, the importance
As
of
the importance of
registering to vote
voting
and why
and
you should vote in
How
general.
the issues concerning women are gonna be important if you vote, you know, for the people that, you know, that are gonna promote your agendas, you know. So I don't know if any of you are interested in that. I would be interested in promoting
Well,
it
it's like the
or
rock the
getting
vote
it in the agenda
Thing
there.
that they have in the schools.
And thinking
Promote
it
Oh,
was
that's
towards
true.
women.
I see how
that coordinator if you want to, or
US.
whatever. And I think that would be good.
I think legal would just need to make sure that there's never any influence more
election.
towards anybody.
Oh, no.
or- Yeah.
Well, it would
but
have to be very
that would be
neutral.
legal, have it
Yeah.
be,
It's a
but
nonpartisan.
I like the-
Could we take advantage of PSAs in case somebody wanted to be
Yeah.
recording it with a script that's already been
Yeah.
approved by legal, that you would say would be very generic and nonpartisan,
How our vote is important.
so that
And I'm sure like the
Something that
Secretary of
could be
State
done,
has stuff
you
like
know,
that for the
Or
elections.
can we have like something like that of getting them, but also, I know when the election was going on, they were missing a lot of people to volunteer and to be able to be at the voting sites and helping. But I think if people actually knew, because a lot of people assume I just go and vote, but you don't know all the background that goes into it, of them having someone that has to be there monitoring, looking at
Your
your
clerk,
ID.
your judge.
Yeah, and some people get paid to do like the judge, but a lot of people don't know that even exists. And I remember this year that they were like freaking out because they didn't have enough judges. Because like I said, a lot of people just assume I just show up to vote and people just happen to be there miraculously. But it doesn't work like that. People have to
Well,
volunteer.
I think that if, that's a good issue. I think that if you all vote and support that, then the subcommittee can put an agenda together on what you all want to see
And bring it in
involved into
January?
that project.
Yeah.
And then you all
I'd
can,
like to have that
Can
one.
So,
anyway.
we need a chair for this last
The workshop. Business
workshop. Yes, but would you like to?
Yeah, I could try that one.
The one for the business?
Yes.
This,
And
and
then,
this.
let's
Oh,
put
I'm
a
sorry,
motion-
that's the other one.
Let's put a motion for you, for your event.
Just a motion to promote the voter registration drive with women and the importance of voting,
So we
et cetera. You know, we can talk about the ballot, we can, a lot of people do not understand the ballot either. I think that if we can maybe
Educate
talk
them.
about it, I mean, have issues that they're interested in as to the different political parties. I mean, this is nonpartisan, and I think people would be willing to listen to us, you know.
I don't know about talking about parties. I think we can go more
No,
general.
no, we can't.
Well,
I would vote
I'm
for
not saying to vote for a certain person, we're just saying that there is, people do not understand the ballot.
Yeah, but
I think we're
And
starting,
putting
and
them
I
in
do agree
perspective.
with that in the sense is like, especially like the young women, that like they're just graduating, they're coming in, they don't know what a Republican, a Democrat, or a non-partisan,
or
independent,
primary.
or private, they
People
don't know,
understand what the
they don't
primary
know
is and the
election like
general
that.
election.
you know? They don't, I mean, I just recently, like a couple of years ago, but when I first got it, they just told me, be a Democrat, my mom's like, hey, you're gonna start voting and you're a Democrat. okay. Until I started, getting more involved in politics, which now I have 20 years in
We can
it.
even
But
have,
I didn't know, I was just
obviously,
Democrat because that's what my
the
parents told me.
Democratic chair, I mean.
That's what I'm saying, not push one or the other,
No.
but explain the difference.
Like a voter guide.
Like a voter guide, something.
Yeah, but the voter
The
guide.
interest, I have a concern. This next year, will there be any elections?
No.
Unless there's a special
Unless
election.
there's a
on
special election.
petition
My
or
concern
something.
is that we're gonna put this together and we may not get the interest we need because there's nothing coming out.
So
Well,
2020.
but I think
That's
in
the
all,
reason
I think in
for
all
it.
fairness,
We have to.
if you educate people now, when the election comes around the next year, they're already educated, they're already learned.
registered.
Oh, yeah.
And you can register people also.
Yeah.
Okay,
We can
so-
get ourselves
And that one, if
deputized.
you all, 2 or
Register.
3 people go to a high school and do a presentation at each high school, the girls and, like you said, the seniors or whatever, and bring the seniors and juniors, or I guess the seniors, because they're the ones that are gonna be 18.
18.
And educate them on the reason
Yeah.
why they should vote, how this affects
How
their
the whole
issues in the
works.
community.
Yes.
nationwide,
exactly.
you know, at the state
issues that are
level.
important that are out there.
Okay, so there's a motion, is there a second?
A second.
Okay.
And again, y'all can come up with the agenda
Yeah.
as we're going.
Yeah, we work on the
Come
agenda
bring
and
it
you
back.
present it to the council. They'll say, this agenda, okay, not, no, take this out.
Do you know about when you might like to put that on the?
What month?
What do we have right now? What do you?
Anytime, I mean, it
March.
doesn't matter right now because we're not having an election. We can do it at any time when we have space, because we have March already all taken care
Yeah,
of.
we have
I
March
would
and
say
July.
sometime
Well,
during the summer.
You actually start with February, don't forget. February, you have to announce your Hall of Famers. So you have the media reception in February.
Right.
And then in March, we have the Hall of Fame.
So
do we
yeah,
need
April
a-
or May?
A media
April,
reception?
I guess you need to make a motion after this one.
And then April, there's nothing.
The April is,
April, May also. April, May, there's nothing on there.
Well, April,
May is
there's
a busy
testing.
month.
Testing
Right.
starts the day after
Advanced
Easter
testing,
Monday.
all that
We're not
goes
gonna,
on.
we're not
That's
gonna
in
have, next year.
April, May is okay.
Well, if
April, May is okay not to have anything because whatever we need, we can do the planning for the business ethnic workshop. So that's okay. You can use April, May to plan for it.
April,
So, if anything,
testing.
would you like to do it in the summer or like
well, we
August?
can have it in yeah.
Like in August?
But who's your target
Yeah, who's your
audience?
audience?
Whoever directing
I think the high schoolers.
The high school
I wanna say high
target
school.
any woman, whether they're young, I mean.
They can bring
it doesn't
teachers
matter.
in.
Not necessarily just high schoolers, because remember, they're already going to the high schools,
Open
but
public
they
then.
do the rock the boat and they have a
So
thank
the
you.
school doesn't really work.
So it's
The
just an
LSA does,
overall
pero they just do it.
workshop or,
Yes.
you want it
So I
educated.
help them out.
Mhm.
Pero en UASD no hay mucho movimiento ahí, a mí un poco nomás, pero no lo hacen como el ISD.
So the April would be good because it's for the open public, so they don't worry about
It's for
testing.
the open
So it'd be
public.
on a weekend? It has to be
Yeah,
on
I
a
mean,
weekend.
really? You can do
Okay,
it
so let's say
anytime. We don't have
April,
a deadline for
maybe
it.
early April, and we'll see what you
Yeah.
come up with, and all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Or any opposed? No? Motion carries.
It's a voters workshop?
Yeah, women voter registration drive in the month of April.
Is it a voter's registration drive or voter awareness? Or a
Voter
voter
awareness.
workshop?
I think it's more of a voting,
Workshop.
awareness
Yeah.
workshop, and you include
Awareness.
voter registration as one of the topics.
If they want.
Okay.
Several,
Awareness.
yeah,
Voter
awareness,
awareness workshop.
There you go.
yeah.
Awareness.
The issue why
We
they
can
should
even have a
vote,
little
you can
film
register
about the
them and
fact
stuff
that
like
how
that.
the women started voting with Susan B. Anthony and how they, with the right to vote, the women got the right to vote in what, 1920?
Okay, so, we have more items on the
For the
agenda.
chair, did you?
The chair?
The chair is Sylvia.
Okay.
And Esther was gonna be, you second the motion?
Right.
Yes.
No, I thought you
No,
co-chair.
but
So if we don't have any more action, that doesn't mean it's not going on the agenda. We have also January 14th, that if someone thinks of something else that they want to bring, we can bring it up there. We'll vote on all of these. Bring your details as to each item that you've been assigned so that Mr. Valdez can present it. And if you have it before, you're welcome to send it to him so he can go through.
The more information I get, the better, that way I can tell legal, this is what
Yes,
the
ma'am.
idea is behind it.
Can you please go over again by month, the ones that we have already tentatively
Yeah.
set up?
Mentioned, yes, Lisbeth will
Well,
go through.
before that, I just wanted, because we did not, I know we said Hall of Fame in March, but we didn't vote on the media reception, which I know it's known, but I guess for minute
Is that, I was gonna
purposes.
ask, is that part of the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, because you recognize them in February, and then you announce them in February, and you recognize them in March.
That's our next agenda item.
Yeah, the Hall of Fame is the next
We
one.
have our, that's the next agenda.
I know, but because it's part of the action plan,
Action
because
plan.
we didn't put it part of the action plan, we just said Hall of Fame in March, but nobody mentioned anything in February. So that's why when I mentioned, so do we need to,
But
does
isn't it
everybody
part-
agree?
Isn't it
I
part
was
of the
gonna
Hall of
say,
Fame?
is that part of the Hall of Fame?
Okay, I just want to make sure, I know it's part of the Hall of Fame, but because we're voting on every month, and that's February. That's all I'm asking,
Right.
that's all
No,
I'm
I
saying.
think
But
it's
you
all
know
part of the
what,
Hall
that
of
is
Fame.
important, because last time, everything was being moved.
Yeah.
They moved
I
a
mean,
couple of
I just-
things, and who approved it, I think that was.
That's why I'm just commenting on it.
If I may,
Uncle, over the, how she had requested for the annual action plan, we did it, it's in March, it's gonna be the Women's Build Day. The Hall of Fame would be in March, the Young Women's Leadership Conference in September, the Business Etiquette Workshop at the City Library in June, and the Women's Voter Awareness Workshop in the month of April. That's what we have so far. It's been approved.
Okay, Mr. Melissa, if I may, they had mentioned that the recognition of the Hall of Fame, correct me if I'm wrong, they had mentioned that you all wanted to just do it at the city council meeting? Or we're
No,
gonna,
No, and then
it's
and then
gonna
we
go
move
back
on.
into,
That's, so we can continue with the agenda. We're done with this agenda. Again, if anybody has any action items that they would like to bring up, either send them to Mr. Valdez or bring them to the next meeting, which is January 14th. So on to the next agenda item, which is discussion and possible action, set the qualifications for potential Hall of Fame candidates and any matters incident thereto. So go ahead, Diana.
okay, my question was that they had mentioned that
That was a possibility.
the possibility,
That was
It could be
not,
as simple as just doing a presentation for the people that are,
or to be honored.
to be honored at the council chambers. I mean, if we're
so we have the option
But then they
also.
said, no, let's continue with the event,
Okay.
but we do it either at the Max or at the library and so on. That's
Okay.
where we're at.
That was my question, because I said if the case is gonna be that it's just gonna be at the city council, then why even have a bigger reception?
No.
But if it's gonna be like at the Max or at the library, then we do need to put the agenda or the item on February to recognize or announce.
I don't think it has to be part of the action plan per se.
It does,
Go to city
it does.
council.
It does have to
It's
be.
part of our action
Yeah.
plan,
Yes.
but I don't think it has to go as a separate item for city council.
It does, because they want to know, that's why it became very tricky on how we were announcing them and then all that stuff, so that's why I feel, or maybe I would like to vote that we do put it on the action plan.
Do we need it?
Would it be at the end of February?
No, it just depends on February, depending.
Because they have to approve whoever you all are recommending.
And
Right, it'll be like
That's
after you
You could
recommend.
say, these are the 10 people we recommend, they could say, we don't.
Yeah, well, they have to be selected in January, at the end of
Yes,
January.
They should have been doing that.
We'll select it, city
The council
council has to
recognizes
still
them.
approve.
Right,
Not this
exactly,
commission.
exactly.
They all just
And then once they
recommend.
get approved by city council, we recognize them at a media event.
So when would you wanna have it?
Why would, may I ask, why do we have to have a media event?
So we can, well, now it's different.
Well, it's different because now our reception,
We don't charge.
we don't charge. We're not asking for people to sign up to attend. We honor them and we do that. If we were to do it at the city council meeting and actually present, these are the women that will be honored on
Oh,
such
yeah, we
and such
could
a
just
day.
have a press release.
Just a press release at that time, because when we had the press conference, there's money involved. Maybe
Yeah.
not a lot, because IBC was good enough to help us out. But the flowers and all of that. And unfortunately, we would get a couple of the councilmen and the mayor was present also, but really, it was really just in-house more than anything. If we did it at the city council, we could get more
I was
publicity.
gonna say that the media's already there, so you might
Yeah.
feel me too working
Yeah.
what's done.
Well,
It was always hard to get the media to the
Right.
media events.
Remember, the process is gonna be, y'all are gonna take applications. You're gonna select individuals, present them to council as saying, these are the individuals that are that we recommend you all approve. They could agree or they could say no. At that point, once they agree, those are the official inductees, then you can have, on your own, we can hold a press conference, have the mayor present, some council members, and say these are the individuals for, in business, and the legal,
Or at a city
division,
council.
whatever. At chambers, yeah.
So
They always do different presentations there, and the media will come.
So will we be moving to have a press conference in February for the holiday?
Or March,
well,
I think
what's your-
as long as
yes, I
it's 2
think
weeks
so.
prior,
We'll do that.
2 weeks
That's why I
prior
don't
to the
think it's
event.
necessary to go on the action plan, because it's part of the whole Hall of Fame event. You're gonna have to do a press,
Press
yes,
release,
press
basically,
release.
that's
But
what
I
it
guess
is.
they're just doing it it's better to be safe than sorry, I guess. The more-
No, because we used to have an event. We used to actually have a big
Yes.
event at.
But
And we had
may I
food
ask
and
a
the whole
question,
thing
Joe?
for them.
Monday.
Maybe I'm not listening well. Before we do anything and present applications and all that, don't we have, you have to first send it to legal to approve what we're putting on this action plan? They're gonna have to approve it first legal and then it goes to be approved, because why do we take applications if they're gonna say, no, pues para qué?
Well,
No, that's
no,
going
the
forward.
applications, yeah, in other words, right
That's
now,
when they give us already a permission to have it.
you
no?
still have to have it, you have to have their permission to hold the event this March.
First,
Yeah, they could say no, I mean, so
What
you'll
is
talk to your
illegal?
councilman. But,
we have to, okay.
I wanna say that they're gonna say yes, I mean, like they've
Yeah, mine
traditionally always said. And so, taking that into consideration, you're gonna start accepting applications. You're gonna talk about the qualifications in a little bit of the application itself. In the essence of time, I would still take the applications as soon as possible, start doing that. That way, in case they change one of the qualifications, you can always put that aside and that person not gonna be considered. So nobody knows who the person you guys are gonna recommend to the council to approve as the inductee until later. But I think that's the best process to
But if we
move
provide
forward.
a list, isn't it public then?
For
Because
what?
it's a public meeting.
Once you put that list out to council, they're gonna consider it, and at that point, yeah, everyone's gonna know who you're
They're already
recommending.
approved, in other words.
No,
No,
they're
it's a
not approved, they
recommendation.
can say no.
Okay,
They
so
can
what
say
if
no.
they say no to these three, is that gonna be done in public?
Yes.
Yes, they approve, they have to approve.
Joe,
Or they
you're
don't.
saying that they're going, you are saying that they probably will approve it?
No,
No, the people you recommend, I
because
have no
don't-
idea who they
I'm
are.
not understanding, maybe
No
it's
serial
me.
killers or anything like that.
No, he's saying that the
Before you take
candidates,
excuse me, before they take let's say I'm gonna have somebody that they want to submit an application,
Uh-huh.
and they fill it out and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and then they don't approve it here, and we have to tell them simply no vamos a tenerlo?
No. It's the regular process of filling out an application. They have a deadline, they have to require, they fill out
I
the same thing.
understand that.
So we get the packages. The committee, which I know that there's always been a committee, the committee reviews them and says, well, you know what? By looking at the background, this person is going for legal and there's nothing legal about this person.
No, but stop.
So you eliminate the
I
process.
understand
Right.
that.
But that's not our question.
No, my.
Right, I'm going through the process. So then,
It's
the
not the
committee
process.
decides, okay, we like these four people, for this, and this. So the four
Correct.
people come here, say, okay, ladies, we chose these four people. Those four people are the
We
ones that are
recommended
going
them.
to the council.
Recommend.
Council, us, the Commission for Women, have reviewed all application, and we feel that these four application or applicants are good in this areas.
Are worthy to
Correct.
receive the.
And they say yes or no.
Yes, but that's not our question.
Oh, that's
Our
not my
question is,
question.
are we actually having a Hall of Fame?
Are we
And we're
actually?
saying yes.
I wanna know,
At this-
before
we
we
won't know
actually give
until-
anybody an application, excuse me, to fill it out.
I
if
thought
they're
we
going-
said yes, because we decided on the action plan, we said Hall of Fame.
No, we
have to
accepted
approve.
that we're gonna have the
Until the council
action
did it
plan, put in there the Hall of Fame. Now, are they gonna accept the action plan? If they don't
Well, they don't
accept
have to
it,
accept
then
everything.
para qué even do anything? Let's first accept the action plan, and they say, go ahead with Hall of Fame, then we go ahead with it.
Well, we.
Well, you won't have time, I don't think,
Well,
because
but
the-
that's not the point. The point is that, what I'm saying is, just me that I'm thinking this way, and these are my thoughts. First approve us, if the city council, if legal doesn't approve us, first of all, if legal says no hay dinero, se acaba todo. Then, do you take it to city council again for approval that we don't
I
have?
totally agree with what you're saying, if this was gonna be done the following year. Since there's no time to waste from here to March, this is a process that's going on. Now, yes, they could say at the end of the day, no, we don't wanna hold a Hall of Fame. There's nothing anybody's gonna do, there's not gonna be a Hall of Fame. That's up to council.
I agree with you, but
But
when did?
This is a decision that you all
Do we
have
ask
to
for
make.
the applications before they approve or after they approve?
I would
Before
say,
they-
I have a
before they-
suggestion.
before they-
I say, let's put the application out. If they say no, which I doubt that they will, if they say no, then all those applicants, whoever applied,
Wait for next.
it goes for the
Consider
next
for the
year.
next year.
It's
If
simple.
that's what y'all wanna do.
Well, I don't agree with that. I'm very sorry, but I
think
don't
that-
agree with telling somebody.
And there's
to
no
fill in.
special meeting coming up, yeah, you're done with meetings, there's
There is
no.
gonna be one, because
I mean,
We have a
why would I
canvassing.
want somebody to
Because you
go
have
out
it
and
sworn
have an
in, you do have it
application?
sworn in
Y que le
also.
digan, sabes que no
No,
puedes,
sworn in,
siempre
but-
no me
Yeah,
das.
No, but you don't have to say that.
No, but it's after
Can't
council,
see.
whether that's
It's not
council
like
is
when-
gonna put it in.
In all fairness,
Attention.
in all fairness, it's gonna make us look extremely unprofessional, and we really don't have it together. I think we can pull it off. I mean, we've pulled off other things, but moving and asking for applications, and we'll go for a vote, I guess, but moving and asking for applications when there might not be an event, and say, oh, sorry, but whatever way you're gonna sugarcoat it, it'll be for next year. I just don't think that's right as well. I think we
I do want to
should.
make a point. We've already voted on it, and we passed it. That was the first thing we did at the beginning of the
That's
meeting.
right.
We voted to have the Hall of Fame this year.
Well, to present it to the full council, that's not the issue here.
Council, not that.
We all want
Excuse me, being the parliamentarian, I would like to have every person raise their hand and be appointed by the chair,
I'll recognize.
Recognize.
recognized by the chair to be able to speak, because, I mean, the room is kind of long, and whatever Ms. Alice says, might be saying, and somebody else over here is talking, we cannot hear the conversation as corrected, and that
Yeah.
way, we have to respect each other, and we're able to understand what's actually happening. So, I mean.
Thank you.
Okay?
Okay, Alice, I recognize.
Right, you're correct. We are voting for the Hall of Fame, and we want to present it to council. That is not, the discussion took turn as to when to open up applications and when the deadline should be. That's what's being discussed. No, we all agree to move forward and ask for the Hall of Fame. Yes, we totally want that. It's the deadline for the application. When should we start taking, if we're not gonna meet, if the council's not gonna meet till January, and we have to wait till then, why are we gonna ask for applications now? We should wait until they decide whether or not there will be a Hall of Fame or not. Unless there's a special call meeting and we can get on that agenda.
Yes, Mr.
Sorry,
Reyes.
go ahead.
We're gonna have the canvassing either the 21st or the 26th of this month. So I can try and ask to see if we can place an item just on the Hall of Fame to see if the council
Yes.
wants to consider it. And then we'll know by the 26th. at
And
the
I think
latest.
that would be great.
And at that point, then we can open it up for applications afterward.
Now, that's just to know,
Yeah.
just to know this, we continue our planning and our different levels of deadlines that we have to meet.
And I would ask if they allow me to put it on, that as many of you as possible can go to that meeting. That way you can, it'll be an item
You guys just
right after
email
the
us.
canvassing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll let you know, we'll let you know.
You just email
That way
us
you
and
all there and eyeball the councilman and.
wear your pink shirts, commission for
What
your
date,
shirts.
what is the date of that meeting?
It hasn't been set yet.
Tentative to the
Okay.
21st or the 26th.
That's why I told my students they know to email us.
21st.
And we'll let everybody know.
I'll be out.
And hopefully we can get it on the agenda. If not,
At least just
it'll
that
be
item.
January, yeah, that's the only one that we'll talk about, but it should be a quick meeting. So if not, then it'll be till January the 22nd.
Okay, well, for expediency's sake.
No, and I will
We
make every
appreciate
effort to try to get it on the
Anything you
agenda.
could do.
I will be out of
Yes,
town.
Ms. Boswell?
Okay. I'm just trying to follow the time frame. Assuming worst-case scenario, it doesn't get approved until January 14th.
The 22nd.
We've had
The
it
22nd.
on the 22nd. we have, keeping in mind the last time, it was very stressful for a lot of the applicants, for the ladies that were rushing to get in triplicate, you know, all of their stuff that they needed to, their files that they needed to send over to the office. And it was just before Christmas, and we had extended the deadline. We put it out there and we didn't have but like 5, I forgot how many people had applied, and so we extended it another month, I think it was.
Yeah.
And it was just before Christmas that it was, I remember it was like the 22nd, and people were out of town, and we were calling people, and did you get it in? And, you know, and it was very hectic, and there, it was like, we need a little more time, because we gave them just such a short period for them to like, okay, here's the application, hurry up and turn it in. You've got 2 weeks to turn in everything and get it reviewed and have the committee look at it and start ruling out those people that did not qualify. We're talking the end of January, we're talking February with all of the George Washington celebration stuff that goes on. March.
When is the Hall of Fame program for March? What?
They've been doing it
Anytime in March.
Anytime it could be at the
I
end.
think we even have it all the way to March 30th.
Because I'm saying.
Last year we moved it to April, if I recall. I think
One time, but you're recommendation.
I don't think we did a lot of
PR.
promoting of the application at all. I don't recall seeing anything. So we need to really push it,
They did.
and we can, you know, there's.
I'm
now
just
the
saying,
city has
looking
a
at
Facebook.
timelines,
Yes, ma'am.
if it's gonna be the 22nd, the council meeting, then you'll have, from the 22nd, and then they meet on the 4th, they meet on the 18th. So if it's approved at the 22nd, let's say we can't get it in December approval, so it would be the 22nd, then you have from the 23rd through, really they would have, it depends on when if we're gonna hold that at the end, it would be what? You all look at your calendar in March?
Well, we need to see availability of the place.
That's true.
I would say last week of March.
So we hold, let's say we hold it the last week, the latest that they could approve it, because they have to approve the recommendations also.
Yeah.
So we have a meeting on the 4th of March and the 18th of March. So you probably want them approved on the 4th, correct?
Definitivamente.
See, con tiempo, and then you prepare the plaques or whatever you're all gonna give them and stuff like that.
In the last week of March. will be-
I'm just saying that it would be from the end of January to accept
By the
applications.
4th, yeah, they
Through
would.
February, it'd be 1 month. Is that a lot of time to accept applications or not?
I think,
I think so.
are we gonna rectify the application, or is the application gonna stay the same? Because I thought you mentioned that needed to
And we're
be
gonna
approved.
discuss that in a little bit also, and that'll be all on the 22nd of January. The application part of it. But if you're gonna hold it, I don't think it's that big of an issue at that point. I think, we all wanna vote right now on, discuss that as far as the application is concerned, but do y'all have enough time if it's only all of February and 1 week of January to accept the application? I think it's,
I think
enough time.
it's.
And then it goes into the amount of
Applicants that apply.
applicants and the
Promotion.
promotion.
I think what Dolores was focusing on was not necessarily our part, but the applicant's part. Because some of them do a tremendous job of doing their resume, and they go, because it's very detailed and specific as to all your community service, every single recognition, we want newspaper clippings. we want
binders and
pictures.
binders and binders.
Well, I do want to say something, if I may. We went over the application as the officers, and we don't need binders and binders and binders. It actually, on some of those, it's asking for 1 page. And we've just kind of gone a little overboard on some of the stuff, which is great. I think there are people that could fill, you know, the whole library of stuff that they've done.
and I was
think
gonna
we
say,
can
Madam
look at
Chair, if I may, when you say that they have to provide this information, is that just to be considered?
Yeah.
Well, that's what the application, supposedly, they interpret the application as asking for that, and it did. So when you guys met, you didn't see that? Because it's the same application. I mean,
It
and
says, What significant accomplishments make this candidate one of Laredo's most outstanding women? Maximum, 1/2 typewritten page. That's all it asks for. In addition, present written documentation that supports the accomplishments.
There it is.
And
That's where it is.
Yes, but
They did the one page, they did the
No,
one.
we had,
We, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Correcting you, and what I was referring to was, some of them did not even do a one page.
Yeah, some of them had
They
just-
did their one page max or whatever it was, but that wasn't it. It was what supported their experience and
There
their
were one page in
community service and their awards, et
Awards.
cetera.
recognition.
Yeah, that's what I was, it's not necessary, they did meet the requirement of 1 page max or 1.5 page max. It's that presentation means everything to a lot of these women. It's a hall of fame. It's not below it, it's a hall of fame. So you don't wanna just turn, it's like, well, here, I want you
Right.
to consider me. And it's just like, this is it? Hey, where are your articles? Where's your back? How do I know?
Back it up.
How do I know that you did this and do, because you got your newspaper articles, you got your letter of recommendations, you got pictures. That's where the binders become. Not necessarily, because like, you as a person that's applying for someone or someone that wants to, it's gonna push you to the max. I'm gonna list every accomplishment that Tiffany did because I really want her to beat Dolores. And if Dolores sends one little page and Tiffany sends a binder with all, that's the weight. That's a different way because, you know, Dolores just submitted what's writing.
There was like 2 or 3 educators, and it was close.
Right, but I don't think we need to know everything that they did throughout their
But
lives.
that's not our, it's not their choice. It's up to the person who's allowed to.
Of course, but it's up to us also, as if they talk to us, we don't need to have, 10 binders of
Talk
stuff.
to
Just
us.
get your significant contributions and put them down. It's a half a page is what we're asking for.
No.
And I understand you're talking about support, which is newspaper clippings, other articles, certificates of achievement, special appointments, awards, letters of support, of any additional documentation that is appropriate, include candidate's name on all attachments. But it's still half a page.
No.
And then on the other one where it says biographical sketch, minimum 1 page, max 3 pages. That's their biographical sketch. So, I understand that some people were able to bring in a lot of things. I understand that. But I don't think that's necessary on everybody. Some people may just bring in
And that
a
is
couple of
true.
certificates.
It is true. We've had some, like I mentioned, we've had some that is just the application, no backup, nothing. And that set that person apart from someone. It's like an interview. Even the person who's getting interviewed, if you present yourself and you give all the councilmen these nice binders that did, hey, this person's organized, wow, look at what they did. And then you send this person, it's like, well, how do we know? Like, okay, well, they did this, well, good for them. But you have the actual proof versus just what's in writing.
It's a hall of fame.
Unless we are limiting it and you want to say, don't submit anything, then let's remove that. And just,
That's not what I'm
That's
saying
right.
either. I'm not saying.
yeah. But I don't think we can limit what they present.
I think it's the exception rather than the rule. There's a lot of them that do bring in a big, like Miss, the one from San Agustin, traía mucho.
Becky.
Can I?
The one that she very.
Yes, ma'am.
I think what we're getting into, the reason is, all we're saying is don't disqualify somebody if they submitted a little bit, but we know who they are.
No, that's
You
not
know what I
fair.
mean?
No, it's not fair.
No, that's
No,
not
that's not fair.
I don't
No,
think
not that you know
that.
them as a person, but that you've seen their accomplishments
No.
around the city. Why
It's a
not?
hall of fame. It is not, I know you, so I know what you did. Since when do things go like that? You need to back up your application. Just because you are so-and-so, that should be good enough? You need to it's a hall of fame.
I think it's on
Not that it's
here
not
that if
good,
you,
but-
if you submit, you're on your half a page max of what you've done, you need support for that. So I can't say, I won first place, the certificate of recognition from so-and-so, unless I have a copy of the certificate. I understand. And that's fair. So,
You're still limiting it. Because if they
no,
want
I'm not limiting,
No,
I'm
but you
just
are. Let
reading
me
what's
finish
here.
what I was gonna get to. What you're saying is, whatever you put, I thought it was a page and a half. I didn't know it was.
No, it's 1/2 page.
Okay, same thing, page and a half.
No,
No, it's
1/2
half a
page.
page.
So what you're limiting to then is, whatever I put here, because some of them have really done a tremendous job and really deserve it, you're saying, sorry, it's only gonna be, sorry, because it's gonna benefit so-and-so who's really not done a lot and doesn't have a lot to fill in anyway, but they're gonna fill in half the page. And then, well, wait, let me get to the point. But the person is gonna fill in the page and add much more to support what they filled in. Are you saying that you don't want that to be accepted? Is
No,
that,
that's not what I said.
okay, so,
I said, what we have here, it says maximum 1/2 typewritten page. And then to bring in all the support for these accomplishments that they're listing on that half page. That's what's on this nominate. I'm not making it up. I'm not cutting anything off. I'm just reading to you what is on the actual application and what's been on there.
Are you,
So-
excuse me, are you saying that we want to change that or what?
No.
No,
Okay.
no,
I'm just telling you what it
Can
is.
we go on? I mean, we've already
Reviewing
decided
the-
that.
Reviewing the application. That's all she
The
was doing.
application and then support, what it says there, period.
Right.
We're not changing it.
No.
That one.
Yeah,
That's fine, I'm just saying.
Maybe
Okay.
put a half page
Yes, sir.
instead of a one.
Yeah.
half
So
page.
then,
That can
will they
be
have
simple.
enough time to do it in a month?
Yes.
They recommend themselves, brought all this information?
Yes.
That's my question. If we get to have this approved in January 22nd, that's, I guess, the main question.
Yes.
I think so.
Yes.
The application has to be approved by city council?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
so
That's what I'm
then
saying.
By the 22nd, we need to have.
City
both.
council say, yes, we're gonna have the event,
And then here's the application.
and we agree with your requirements for the applicants. And then they're gonna review what I would hope maybe March the 4th, the first meeting of March. That way you have the time for the press conference and have everything prepared for the, whenever we're gonna have the event at the end of March.
Yeah.
And so it's gonna be all of February, plus maybe a week of January, to accept applications, review them, hold the meeting. Could be a special meeting for the commission to recommend these people, whoever they are. That's what I'm saying, that's all gonna happen quickly in a month if we get approval in January. Now, we're gonna shoot for the end of, or next week.
I would try to shoot, if we do, I mean, we're gonna try to shoot for next week, but if we do January, wait till January, I would actually go before council on the second meeting in February, simply in case they reject our nominees.
Yeah, well, and that
Because then
makes
that
the
gives
window
us-
even shorter.
Then, but that gives us still time to reevaluate the other applicants for the first
Yeah,
March
for the
meeting.
first meeting.
So, we can't take for
Okay,
granted that they're
yeah.
gonna approve all our, the Hall of
That's a
Famers.
good point.
So at the last meeting in
So I would
February,
say
shoot
the
for that
last
one.
meeting of February, we have to decide and submit to council for approval.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
then mine, what I was saying, it's not, because, not that I wanted to undermine someone else, but when someone's being nominated, you're not nominating yourself. So you can be a good person, but the person that nominated you might not be detail oriented to submit all this stuff. That's all I was trying to say. Because if I nominate myself, I know all my stuff. I can give you binders and stuff. But if someone else nominates me, and they might not be as detailed as I am, you know what I mean? That's all I was trying to explain.
And also, just for, for the record, some of the ladies, well, I mean, like, we have a new commission lady. We do not,
We're not allowed.
we're not allowed to say, oh, I want to nominate such and such person, because I know that they've done a fantastic job. I mean, as a commission, we're not allowed to do that.
We can't nominate anyone.
So you'll just know, because I know you're new to the commission, so. Because it might happen, because I have somebody in mind, and then you come up with a name, and say, pues no, I mean, okay, you can do it.
I quit.
Okay, and the next item.
So the
I'll send it to you when
applications
I get home.
should not be put out until
After
We get
approval
approval
from
from
January.
after January.
Unless
Or
he
December.
unless he can squeeze us in the December one, we can start putting it
I know,
out.
me too.
Mr. Valdez, if I wouldn't be able to attend that meeting, will I be in any danger of?
No.
Because I'm
No,
not.
because
That's a council meeting.
That's a council meeting, it's
Yeah.
not a formal meeting.
Okay, because I'm not.
For the commission.
Okay, the last item here is discussion and possible action to review the Hall of Fame applications. I don't think we got a copy of it,
No.
but it's basically, this is the application, okay? And I think everything,
Did we discuss, I think we, Madam Chair, I think we missed number 8. We discussed that. Oh, I'm sorry, that's what we were just.
We're discussing already.
That's what we're
Okay. Sorry, my bad.
So, on this application, there are two items that were brought up that I think are very important, and we mentioned them earlier. One is, public officials that are running in an election are not allowed to be nominated.
That are running, that are running office.
That are running.
Candidates.
Well, there's two issues. I
And then,
think.
yes, and then
And the other one
that's,
is any elected official that
That is.
is in office right now.
Excuse me, the other one is what, Joe?
Somebody is
Well,
running
if
office.
somebody's in office, would they have an advantage or someone that's not in public office? That was kind of one of the issues that was brought up before. And so I just want to make sure that you all addressed it. You don't feel it is, so be it. You feel it is and not allowing you.
And we
Elected
wouldn't let the
officials.
concern was at city council, because if it's them, then they're not gonna approve those people we bring it up. You know what
Yes,
I
and
mean?
all
Like,
that's
that's not exactly.
But, different people
Well, I think
made
that-
comments before.
I think that someone that holds city office should not be considered. I don't know if I would extend it to any office, but there's an advantage to that as well, because what if they do something that discredits them ethically while they're in office? You know what I mean, that,
and they run that risk.
You run that risk of them
Just
being
like when they
all-
name the buildings on somebody. If
Yeah.
something happens, you run the risk too?
I think
But
They
I,
have to erase everything? No, but.
I agree with the first one, which was, no one currently running for office, yeah, because it gives, I think, the false impression that we are supporting a particular candidate. And the second one, I think definitely no one who holds an office in the city or even employed by the city should be eligible for a Hall of Fame nomination.
Only the city?
I would stop at the city, yeah, as opposed to county, or like you say, what if someone's on the Laredo College Board, or the LISD board, or UIC board?
Or trustee and UISD or LCC.
You
and
say
their
no?
candidates.
I think it's the city
Sylvia.
conflict of interest.
I recognize Sylvia, yes?
I was just saying that I agree in a way what you're saying about somebody that's running for public office. You know, that they shouldn't, be recognized, I mean, but it's hard, I mean, but anyway, I'll accept that. But it's somebody that's already in public office, and maybe within the city, because we are representing the city, that maybe those should not.
That's what I'm saying, that's what I'm saying.
That's what, yeah, because the other public
Yeah,
offices.
But county
like
or
county
school
or
board, I
school
think
board
that
or-
that's okay.
Yeah.
I would
It's
like
really
to
fine.
say, because I think you mentioned employees.
Yes,
I don't think employees should be removed, or,
okay,
I think just
I can live with that.
elected officials.
okay.
Because there are maybe some city employees that on their, off time, they're with a nonprofit or
Yes.
something, and they could
Yeah,
be
good
really
point.
contributing, so then
Because
you
we
kind
did say
of.
elected
So
officials,
in
right?
essence, no woman that's on the city council will ever be able to
No,
be.
while
they're on-
remember, they're only on city council for 8 years, so those 8 years that they serve at city council,
So
they're not eligible for
During
Hall of
that,
Fame.
that
Yeah, once they
tenure,
leave city
whether it's
council.
4 years or 8
Right,
years,
yeah.
they cannot be
Yeah, absolutely. Nominated.
nominated.
And now that it's gonna go before them to
Yeah.
get approved, it would look even more.
They would be
Yeah.
voting to approve themselves or one of their own, so I think that's a conflict.
And I
of
think that's
interest.
what happened last year. We disqualified one for that reason.
Yeah.
So any city elected, because you have the
Any
commission.
city
powers,
elected official.
like-
No city elected official, and also no commission member. While you're a commission member, you cannot
Yeah.
run for this as
But
well.
is that already somewhere or no?
I don't think.
I don't
it is
think
in
it's
there.
anywhere, but
It's just kind of
I'm not sure if it's in the bylaws, it's something that we just always said.
I don't think we've ever had that problem.
No, we never had that problem,
It stands to reason, of course.
but I don't think we ever had it, but now that we're putting it in writing, it's.
maybe it's a good idea to put it.
That
in.
would be for the elected officials and for
City
people running.
elected
City
officials.
elected officials.
City elected officials and anyone who
Any
is running
elected
for
official
An
office,
runs.
official candidate for
any public office.
any public office.
And a commission member.
Okay, do you want me to put that in the form of a motion?
I'll just kind of repeat, yes, and then you can put, no one currently running for public office, no one who holds an office with the city.
No one who holds an elected office with the city.
An elected.
And you do want to add, no member of the commission may nominate an individual or be nominated for the Laredo Hall of Fame.
During their.
So we made.
During their time served. like
During their
we
time
have.
served.
We've had members that leave and we nominate them later.
Yeah,
But they're not in the commission.
that's 3 changes we made to the application process.
Okay.
Want to repeat them?
Yes, well, you put it in a.
Well, I would like to move that we accept the 3 changes that we have put in the application, 3 stipulations for nominations that we put in the applications. As written.
Could you repeat it and I'll edit the document?
Yes, no one currently running for public office. No one who holds an elected position with the city of Laredo.
Current, yeah.
Current. No commission member or no member of Laredo Women's Commission or Laredo Commission for Women can nominate or be nominated during
Their tenure.
their tenure.
That's the motion.
Is there a
And that
second?
elected official is city only, correct?
City.
Yes, only city. I second that.
Okay, that was.
I hope that covers all our bases.
Yeah, it really does.
So who is Betty?
I mean,
Linda, motion, and I second it.
Okay, any other discussion? Anything else anybody thinks we should change? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. Okay, ladies, then that's all I have.
Was there any comments?
general comments are open or?
Yeah, it's not on the agenda, but.
Usually we
Yes.
You can address that during public comments too if you want to.
Okay.
Yeah, normally it's not, general discussion is not allowed
That's
by
not
state
allowed.
law.
You need to give
Oh, really?
the public
Notice
sufficient
of what
information
you're
about what
gonna
you're going to
talk
discuss.
about.
And so
Well,
then
I think mainly what
some
we
committees
did
used to
was
have,
like,
Regulations.
what we did was just if you had some,
Right.
an
New
event or
things.
something, an event.
Announcements, that's all it is,
Right.
just announcement, comments.
Right. And again, like, you could do that in
I would
public
rather
comment.
just if you all would adjourn, and then if you all want to talk about it after the fact.
That's the best thing to do is to adjourn.
Okay,
I move to adjourn.
Second.
I say.
okay, all in
Okay,
favor?
Linda and Sylvia.
We're adjourned at 7:15.
I'll give that this.
So